Hello, everyone. It is Professor Oleander, and a bit under the weather today, but I'm going to try and get through this video. Uh, Today, I want to look at something that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks, and that is supply trains for the various routes. And before they go to screaming, let me turn on auto because I just opened this up. Uh, so what I've done here is I'm sitting here in Waycross, and I've done this for all the routes, some of them more than others. I'm sitting here in Waycross, and I have all these trains, and they're all tagged for um, the various locals. So there's A753, there's A740 or 784. They're somewhat blocked, but if you go down through here, some 753s and 754s, 784. Most of them are blocked. There's a 753. You get some in here that are kind of out of sequence. For the most part, they're in order. What I did was I set up a hump configuration where if I go here to my inbounds and outbounds, you can see that I have a track set up for each local, and then I have these are all classification yards, and then I just have some destination yards here. So Atlanta and Chicago and Louisville, and then we got Mobile, New Orleans, Tampa, Charleston, all that. And what I do is I have trains set up to come in. I go in here to Waycross because I'm treating this as my main hub for everything. It's not typically prototypical, but this is just how I do it. It saves me some time. And you can see I have the various trains here. So what I did was I sat down and I made a spreadsheet. Let me set this up where you can see it. So this is one of the spreadsheets that I've worked on. I've actually got several down here at the bottom. These trains here, these are the locals. This is what subdivision they have to go on. And the reason why I did this is because it was getting ridiculously complicated to remember which train had to go where, because as you can see, there's so many subdivisions that come in to this one little section. So A720 goes out to Manchester, up the Manchester sub, Fitzgerald sub, Cordele yards. So these are the yards: Oglethorpe, Baldwin, Rands, Pecan, Taft. These are the subdivisions that they go down. So Manchester, Fitzgerald, Nahunta, Callahan, Sanford, Jacksonville Terminal, and Thomasville. So this is where they go. These are the outbound trains for the various classification yards. So you can see that Q4 646 is going to Atlanta, and then over here Q492 is going to Hamlet. And that's sort of what I've done. And then I've got the various other yards here that go out. These are the subdivisions that they go out of. And the A line was one of those that I racked my brain over for a couple weeks. I had to actually sit down, draw out a map with where the subdivisions come in, so that way I could figure out where the various trains have to go. So down here I have supply trains. So these are all the trains that are coming in and what they have on them. So let's just look in here for a second and see that I have Q456. Now Q456 right here is bringing in M744, A719, A754, Y192, and Q444 or 441. And if we look down here, actually I think this is an older train. So bad example. Or was I looking at the right train? That was probably an older train that I had before I put the stuff on those. Some of these are, as you can see, these are just got tags on them, and I just made up a train where they would bring in just random stuff that has to be tagged to go out. So that's a bad example. So let's say 541, which is right here. So A726, A730, A731, and Q606. If we come out through here, 726. And looks like that's all going to have 726 on it. There's got to be more on here. There's some. There's an A730. And some of the industries just aren't set up for stuff either, so... But you get the idea. And all it is... Let me just go back over here and look. That was 541. And as I have it set up on my spreadsheet here, 541, I believe, is coming off of... I think that comes out of Campground. It's North Campground. No, it's not here. And I still am doing some work on this. I think it's that one there. Nope, that's the one I was just on. Let's see. Was it gay? Not that one. Anyway, I'll just pick one. Let's go and look at another one here. So let's just pick one out of the Sanford subdivision, which is 456. So 456. And the reason why I'm struggling with this is because I really need to go through here and get rid of some of these spawn points. Because and I haven't played in this in a while, so it kind of gets me. Let's see here. Where was the ones for Sanford? It's not Taft, I don't believe. There's 456. Is that tagged? Nope, that's one of the other ones. And I did an update on this thing too, and it actually messed up some of my stuff. But we'll just pick one. I know that there's one here somewhere, and I've got to redo all my spawn points again too. That's what I hate running updates for this game because it always breaks everything. Alright, what's coming out of... We got 687 and 647. So 647's here. And you can see I've got A720, A766, 767, these right here. And if we look over here on my sheet, you can see that's all the trains that I have coming in, all the way up to 785. And if you want to make one, and I'm just going to pick one here, we'll just make a new one. If you want to do the same thing, we'll just put on here like Q111, something like that. And all you have to do is put in here tagged for industries and just pick whichever trains you want, and these are the locals. This is some stuff that's held over from something else, and some of these don't make any sense, and I have to go through and delete some of them. But that's all you have to do, and then we'll go up to campground here in just a second and see it. And I'll just put a locomotive on there and just tell it spawn now. And then let's go up to campground, which is on the next page. And there you see there's Q111, which is down here. And if we look through here, you see that it has its tags for all of the industries. I don't need that train right now, so I'm going to delete it. And then we'll go back to Waycross. I'm just going to pick somewhere. We go over here, and we look at how I set up the Hump controller again. And you'll notice that they have their train number, and then they have the actual destination tag. You don't need to have the destination tag. All you've got to have is just the train number. So you can see whenever I run these over the hump, and we'll go down here and look, you can see that they're all classified according to their train. And from here, for the most part, these are all blocked. But every now and then you'll get one that's kind of out of sequence. And looks like I probably won't have to do it with these. I thought that's an SRL, and I thought I saw some SRLs up here. Yeah, there's an SRL right there. So this train will have to be taken out and shot, so that way that I don't have to deal with it. But what you could do, and I'll actually show you right now. to break these down even further, you can do a re-hump. And so let's just look and see here. I need to do left control L, and I don't even remember what train that was. We'll just pick one. Let's just say 784. So left control L, and then we're going to go through here. I really need to delete these. I don't know why they're in here. So A784. It's green, meaning that they've got cars. So you see all of these industries here. And you can sort these by, in the industry configuration, you can sort them by their local freight symbol. And if we go down here and we look for 784, go down here, there's 784. So these are the various tags that are for each one. So we got ABS, AMG, BOI, CKSO, so on and so forth. And we'll just pick 3. So let's just say ABS, AMG, BOI. Okay. Go into the Hump controller. And let's just say that I want to make a new config. So I just double click there and it makes a new configuration. We're going to delete that. We're going to say I want this to be the A784 sort. Okay. Just pick a track, any track. It helps if you do it right here in the middle. They're typically going to be the longer tracks, but it doesn't really matter. And if you can't remember, you just hit escape out of that and just do Control L. Sort it again. I don't know why it does this. It won't save what you configured. We can get back up here. All right, 784. So ABS, AMG, BOI. And then back in here. So we'll make this track ABS. And then we'll make this track BOI. And then we might make this track AMS. And what happens is when you go in there and you pull this track out, when you take it out of this track here, you can reach down in there, grab it, you can come back up here, and then you can run it over the hump, or you can let the AI run it over the hump. And what'll happen is as it goes down, it will re-hump these cars. Now there's enough tracks here in Waycross. The thing that I would recommend you to do is, just going back here to the spreadsheet for a second. You see how many trains that I have on here? I would make one for each one of your supply trains. I haven't done it yet. It's just because I've been working on the other ones too. I would make a setup for each one of your supply trains. And what you can do is, so for like, let's see here, and I have to test on this too because I can't remember exactly how these might need to have the A784, so you might have to do like 784 and then ABS, and then you might have to do A784 BOI. The other thing to do, if that doesn't work, and again I need to test it some more, I just wanted to do this one to kind of give you an idea of where you can go with it. If that doesn't work, come over here, grab your train, go into the tagger, and I'm going to see if this will actually work. You should be able to just highlight all of them with left shift and then do that. And then what that does is that takes off the A784. Now you've just got your destination tags on them. So when you go over to your Hump controller and you set up your configuration for your Hump, all you got to do is just put in there HOW, and now your cars are tagged for it. So that should work for you if the first one doesn't. And I have to go back and read through the literature again. believe the hump controller only reads the first little string. I don't think it pays any attention to the second. It's kind of how the way auto reads train symbols. It only pays attention to either the last two or the last three letters to determine where it has to go, because that's how it's coded. So again, you can just go in there and sort it. Now for like right now, I'm just gonna put the A784 because these haven't been run over the hump yet. So 784 and then space, and then let all that sort through. And then when I go to re-hump it, just pull the 784 off of all of them and then let it sort it out. That's how I would do it. That's probably how I'm going to end up doing it here, is just each one of those trains. So like, let me see here. Each one of these trains is going to have its own configuration. The thing is, you can't let the hump yard get too full, because like right here, I've got, what is that? That's 7 or 8 trains on that one. But like this one right here, I've only got to bring it in one train, and I can just very easily sort that out. And these trains here, there's not that many, so I can have them sorted out without too much issue. And that's sort of how I'm doing it, and I've kind of sort of started doing it on the other ones here. This is the one for BNSF. This was the first one that I started, and I'm still kind of working on it. And these are all the classification yards in the system and the tags. And then these are where all of the locals have to work. And then you can see here, there's all the supply trains. And then I've got one for Union Pacific out there. This is the one for Roseville, which I'm treating as a Southern Pacific Railroad. The locals that run out of Davis, the ones that run out of Sparks. And then these are symbols. This isn't 100% accurate, but it's to give myself an idea of what runs where. So when you see A's, it means that it's a local in Southern, and there's various ones here because you've got some L's, and then you've got Y's, which are classified as yards. This is the old way of doing things before they went to the M's. So if you see a Q, it's a manifest. Well, take it back. Let's see. 300s were manifests. 500s were manifests. 600s were manifest. Then you had specialties, and then you had your intermodals. And I'm just doing that for sanity. It's not 100% accurate. It just gives me an idea, because CSX train symbols can be somewhat maddening. NS symbols are not much better. But as you can see here, I've started one for Selkirk. These are the symbols for NS, and then what I've started here for Pittsburgh, which I'm probably going to start working it next. I've got one CSX local, then you've got the 2 RJ Corman locals, and then the rest of it are all locals for that. And then I've got stuff for Trona, FEC, and Amtrak, which I haven't started on yet. But that's sort of where I am with that. Back up. The Southwest is by far the busiest, and Waycross here can get very busy as well. The nice thing about Waycross is the yard is so big that I can literally go in here, but I found myself just like working non-stop in here because it got so many trains. These are all trains that are ready to go out. So like, yeah, these are the locals that are ready to work, and I just haven't had time to do them. This is an outbound that's ready. It's actually fairly short. I don't know, that might be 3,000 feet. Just see, how long are you? Nope, you're 2,000 feet. I mean, I'd send that out. It's only going to Miami. Just put a couple of, I don't know, put about 2 or 3 SD40s on it and send it out of the yard, because it's what? 27, oh, we don't even need that. 2 SD40s is enough to get that thing out of here. But that's sort of the plan. Oh, while I'm on the subject of that, this is very much a work in progress. You might have seen this thing over here that says train makeup. Let me pull it back up here. you might have seen this tab over here. It says train makeup. This is according to, and I have to remember the name of it. If you type in Union Pacific System Special Instructions, there'll be a PDF. I can't remember the exact name of it. And what this is this is how, somewhat how the railroads will sort out how much power goes on what. So over here, the power table, this is not accurate to real world. This is how Run 8 handles it. So you've got EPA, which is equivalent power axle, which is a 10,000 pounds of tractive effort equivalency per axle. And I've got the models that are in game, and I believe the NS 4400s have been repowered to 44. I have to go back and look through that, because originally they were 4000s, but I think they actually changed it to 44. But you can see all of all the big engines have 8 EPA. In reality, the 4400s, I believe, have 10, and it's either 9 or 10, and then the Aces have like 11. But apparently the way that the game calculates it is there are 8 powered axles, and then 8, except for the Ace, is 10 for dynamics. And then these are just the length restrictions. This is for radio communication. Maximum tonnage here I just use this as a baseline. This is what they have set up. 650 or TPA. So total power axles. So tons per powered axle is what that is. And I'll do another video on how to actually build up trains so that they don't break in half, and I'll pull up the rule book from UP so that way you can kind of see it. And then your maximum equivalent power axles, and you notice the note down here on grades exceeding 1.9. So basically anything going up either Cajon or to Bakersfield or going over Roseville, you can't have more than 36 axles on the front end. So which would be 3 of these guys. No. 8, 16, 24, 32. Be like 4.5. Okay. And then power restrictions. These are all the TPA numbers. And once we get everything, if they do the expansion up to Stockton and whatnot, you'll have all that. And then over here, I've started on an HPT table, because I used to have it and I can't find it anymore, what BNSF used to build up trains going over their system. And I'm just making up a table here so that I remember how much each place has got to have. So for go in here to CSX. So for CSX, the A line is relatively flat. It's rolling here and there, but for the most part, you can get by with like a half of an HPT. You go up to the Fitzgerald, if you're going south, so if you're coming out of up here towards Atlanta, you're going towards Waycross, you can get by with not quite so much horsepower, because it's relatively downhill. You're coming down from Atlanta, which is 1,000 feet elevation, down to basically sea level. If you're going northbound, you got to have significantly more. I think it's 1.5 is about what I shoot for. 1.5, 1.7, somewhere in that neighborhood going out. If you're going towards, out towards Jessup, up here, up towards Ludowicki, you can get by with about 0.5 to 1. It climbs a little bit, but not that much. I mean, you're going out into the coastal plain, so it's not too bad. But even sending a train down Cajon, you've got to have some guidelines. So that's what that is. I'm not going to put the link up for the spreadsheet yet. I won't make it public because I'm not done with it. But that's just what I've been working on. And that's how you can set your trains up here. And you can have them DPU. They can have as many of these trains on there as you want, or you can, as I told somebody the other day, you can make up fake industries. Just go into your industry thing here and just say we're gonna make a new industry. You want to edit tracks, and let's just say that I want to put these right here, and then go back over here, and we're just going to call it ABC or ABD, and then we'll just say that the local is 888, and then the tracks are going to be assigned to, I don't know, we'll just pick up and just make up something there, and then we want to let's see here, got there added, and then you would just go in here and you would say oh, we got to set up cars. That's why I wouldn't let me say. So let's just say it's got an acid tank car, and let's just say that it's going to Hamlet. And all we got to do is say add that industry, and then save it. And if I hit right control F8, you can see that these tracks are now spawned for, or tagged for ABD. And all you have to do is, so like, you pick your local up here, and I think I said it was A888. And there you go. You tag it. Now, instead of having trains that are coming through your map that are saying, like, well, all these are tagged, but instead of having a bunch of cars that come through that say none, you can have a bunch that come in and say that. And you can do the same thing with down here. So if we just take off that, and we just say in here, we want Hamlet, we want, let's just say Augusta, CHS, same thing. Whenever it spawns in, it'll have these tags throughout. And you can make them up or you can put them in there. It's just one way to do it. And for that industry that I just made, we're actually just going to go ahead and delete that industry and save my configuration, and it's gone. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into some of the things you can do. Locals is one of those things where it can get very complicated very quick. As you can see, all these are all various trains. I mean, it's gonna, for one person, it will take me forever until they get some sort of AI set up that can actually work locals. But I'm not holding my breath on that, because that's sort of a pie dream. That's all I have to say about that. So I'll do another video on train makeup here at some point. I'm not exactly sure when. I've been working on some other things and trying to get all this stuff squared away. But I will see you again in the next video.